It's Ash from Super Videos, back to talk about Season 10 of The Walking Dead. This is my promo trailer breakdown for the upcoming episode of The Walking Dead, Season 10, Episode 13, which is called What We Become. Now, for those of you who may not know, this is actually Michonne's final episode. She will not appear in any episode after Episode 13, and this is her final send-off story. Now, we don't know whether she's gonna survive or not, but if you've been following the channel, you know where I stand in terms of what I think is gonna happen to Michonne. But we're gonna go through the trailer and break it down. Now, this episode is actually a Michonne-centric episode. We're not gonna see anyone else. We're just gonna see Michonne, and it's gonna follow from earlier on in the season when we had Virgil showing up, telling Michonne he's from this island called Jekyll Island, this military naval base, and he told Michonne that they have a lot of weapons and a lot of military equipment that the survivors can use when it comes to the fight with the Whispers. So this episode is going to be a Michonne-centric episode, and it's gonna follow that story. So the promo starts with this shot of Michonne and Virgil. They're most likely on their way to or at the community that Virgil was talking about, where her family's at Jekyll Island. Then we have this shot of what seems to be an abandoned camp. We have a couple shots that are just showing the camp and people's belongings that have been left behind. We have this shot where we see a bottle of water, which is interesting. That leads me to think that maybe this camp was cleared out maybe days ago. Then we have this shot of Michonne in the same exact area. In the voiceover, she says, "I need to get back. It's a lot of lives at stake." So she's referring to her people. So Michonne just wants to find the weapon that she's looking for and head back and to help her people back in her community. We have this shot of Virgil and Michonne passing by this map. It says U.S. Navy Research Facility Campus Map. Now, this is obviously that same naval camp that Virgil was talking about, so they have gotten there at this point. Now, if you take a look at the map, it seems like the different areas in the campus have been claimed by different groups. So group 1 is at one area, group 2 is at one area, and so on. So that leads me to think that maybe this is part of a bigger organization, most likely connected to CRM, the group that took Rick, and they are controlling these different areas, and they have different groups stationed in these different areas. So that's extremely interesting. Then we have this shot of Michonne threatening Virgil. We have Virgil in the voiceover saying, "Well, those Whisper folks really got you percolating now." Then we have this shot, which is a continuation of the previous shot with Michonne threatening Virgil. We have this shot of Michonne saying, "Where the hell is your family?" So her family was supposed to be there, but they're not. So that's interesting. So Michonne is worried. She doesn't trust Virgil anymore. And maybe Virgil has some things that he's hiding. Maybe he's not completely transparent with Michonne. And we have this shot of Michonne running. And then this shot of a boat on fire, which is interesting. But then in the voiceover, Virgil says the island is not clear. It was until the others came. Maybe the island he was talking about was clear, but maybe CRM soldiers came and destroyed it or claimed it or something. So that's interesting. So there's a possibility that Virgil is not lying. It's just that the island was claimed before they could get there. We have this shot of Michonne passing by this restricted area. This might even be close to the naval base. We also have this shot of Michonne looking through some stuff hidden away. Now, this could even be where she finds stuff that might belong to Rick, or stuff that's gonna get her to realize that Rick may not be dead. We've talked about that before, and I think that could be connected to what we see here. And I think that, going back to what I said earlier, I don't think Michonne is gonna die. I think she's gonna have an open-ended exit, and I think that her exit will relate to finding out Rick is alive. Her exit is just going to take her out of the show and put her in an environment, put her in a spot where she can reunite with Rick in the Walking Dead movies. Then we have this shot of a petrified Michonne. Then we have this shot of what seems to be people running around with guns, maybe trying to look for Michonne, maybe something like that. I don't think these are from the CRM. They don't look like it. They look like ordinary survivors. So maybe they do run into some survivors or bad people along the way when they try to get to wherever Virgil is trying to take Michonne to. We have this shot of Michonne with her katana. This is connected to the previous shot, so she's just trying to kill those people that we saw that are trying to get her. Now she is wearing the exact same outfit that she's wearing in another shot that we're going to look at. But take a look at what she's wearing. She's wearing a bandana and also she's wearing a leather jacket. We'll come back to that in a bit. And then we have this shot of Michonne opening the door to a building. Maybe this is in that same research facility or the naval base that we've been talking about. And then we have this shot of Michonne holding Lucille, pointing it at someone. Now, look at what she's wearing. It's the exact same outfit that she was wearing when she was running in the woods. So that leads me to think that those two scenes are related to an extent. I don't necessarily think that she's hallucinating here. I mean, she could be, but 50-50 on it. I still think that it could be a hallucination, but there's a possibility that it might not be a hallucination. And then we have this shot of Michonne talking on the walkie-talkie with someone. She's crying, she's upset. Now that's interesting. I think that she could possibly be talking to someone who may know about Rick or something along those lines. Or maybe she is trapped somewhere and she's trying to communicate out, but she can't. Something along those lines. And then we have this shot of Michonne with her walker pets. This is actually current time. So it's not when we first met Michonne. It's actually the current timeline Michonne. But obviously it's circulating back to the moment when we saw Michonne when she had those walker pets. So it's a callback to that. So that's pretty awesome. We have this shot of Michonne with a flashlight. Now I think she's still in that same research facility that we just saw. And then we have this shot of her looking around, and then this shot. Now if you remember, we saw a teaser before the second half of the season started where we had this shot of Michonne, but in the background we had Virgil looking at her. So those two are connected. And then we have this shot of Michonne running towards this door and the door closes. So I think what most likely happened is that Virgil left Michonne in this room and Michonne is trapped. Now, I don't necessarily think that's how Michonne goes. I don't think she's just going to be trapped and that's going to be the end of the story. But I do think that she's going to be trapped at some point by Virgil. But that's pretty much it for my breakdown of this trailer. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comment section below. That's it for this video. See you next time for another super video. If you like what you see, press like, subscribe for more content, and press the bell button to receive notifications for daily uploads.